Just below the knee.
Listen, dude, I'm a hobbit. I'm a legal hobbit. Shorts are capris on me.
He's got tiny legs.
I am 75% torso. It's the truth. I have spent many years of my life coming to terms with this.
Okay.
That I am 75% torso. And,
Are those actually shorts?
His ankles is 5 inches.
what? My ankles are 5 inches? Yeah, that's it. Shut up. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Vertical Church Podcast.
This is a roasted Hector time.
Where apparently we're just roasting me. It's okay.
Oh, God.
We're just roasting. It's okay. Okay, let me read this. Yeah, you can see socks just to show that, you know.
I was saying you couldn't wear regular socks.
I can, okay. But not only because I have short legs, but also because I got some beefy calves. I can't wear like long socks because it goes from ankle to thigh in 0 point flat. Anyway, hi everybody, for real this time.
Take Easter.
Take two.
Oh, bro, that's like the outtake right now. That's the outtake.
Welcome to the Vertical Church Podcast. Because today we're going to be discussing Easter traditions, and today is also Maundy Thursday, which, let's be super honest, DJ, did you know what Maundy Thursday was before you worked here?
No, I did not.
You thought it was a Thursday that was called Monday?
Yeah.
Never heard that term before.
That's the term for today is Maundy Thursday, and it's the day where the Passover and all that
the
stuff.
Passover, washing of the feet. Yeah.
But we're just gonna be talking Easter traditions because it's Easter and we all come from different backgrounds, but also as churches we do and lead things differently. So just ask you this: as kids or adults growing up, wherever you want to go with your story, what's the first Easter memory you have? Of just not just of ministry life, but of your life. What's the first, like, when you think of Easter, the first memory you have of your life, Easter related?
As a kid?
As a kid, like, think back, the first time you actually have a memory associated with Easter.
A chocolate bunny. That's the memory I have.
Chocolate bunny?
Milk chocolate bunny.
We used to get the
And Peeps.
Peeps.
That's
Easter egg hunts.
We were pagan, by the way. Just for the record, we're not a spiritual family at the time.
Okay.
We were
Easter egg hunts.
We were all in
That's
on
what
Easter
I
bunny.
was.
I'm trying to remember if it was actually like making a bunny at school.
Sue Ann Locklear Brave Boy says Easter egg hunts. Candace Sampson said Easter egg hunts at grandma's. Okay, so a lot of the things.
Yeah. I got the basket.
Yes.
That I got that same cheap Family Dollar pre-made Easter basket that every other kid in my class got.
I felt like it was 2 foot tall.
It was 2 foot tall, but it was all handled.
Yep.
It was like it was as shallow as a collection plate.
It looked like it was like deep with stuff, but it's not.
It was like there was no bottom. It was like this
the fake grass in the bottom of it.
fake grass.
Fake grass.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And a piece of chewing gum.
Yeah. I don't know that it was ever bad, but so like most of your early Easter memories all revolved, like from what I'm hearing, all revolved around the activities and actions of Easter and
The pagan activities.
Family gathering.
gatherings. Even with Danielle's mom and grandmother, when my kids were toddlers, my first 2 kids were toddlers, they would, even if they never attended church with us or anything, they wanted the kids to come over and find eggs in the yard.
Yeah.
And we did that a lot. So we've got a lot of our Easter stuff that's tied up, with just the commercial celebration of it. No, I'm not hating on it, but
it is.
that's a lot of it. When's the first time you remember it really hitting you that it was, this is a Jesus day? Because we all have the Easter eggs and the chocolate and the baskets and stuff. When's the first time you can really remember that was presented to you? This is really about Jesus.
I noticed at our home church, either wise, it was the Sunday before or the Sunday of Easter, we always done the big cantata.
Okay, big musical thing.
Big musical thing. So for me, man, it was an early age far as I can remember, there's always been that, you know. And so with my family being part of the choir there, I always knew it was Jesus centered just because of, you know, that. And then obviously I was part of my family being part of the church at that time. You know, we did the food thing and all that with the church. So for me, I was really young and I recognized the two went together.
Well, growing up, we were devout Sunday school.
Hey, Phil.
You know, we went to Sunday school. I honestly never went to a worship service until I was mid-teens.
Okay.
We didn't do that.
I didn't go to a worship service till I was a
You did
teenager.
Sunday
either.
school.
We went to Sunday school. So in Sunday
You're one of
school, I
those
learned, you know,
Just go to Sunday school and then leave after.
yeah, we'd go in the back, go to Sunday school, we'd leave out.
Okay.
And
Well, I think that's probably the only time we would go to church would be Easter. Early on as a kid.
Same here.
So I mean, early on, I kind of connected the two. I mean, it wasn't like, but it was heavily Easter Bunny as the main thing. But we go to church because, you know, Jesus died, that kind of thing. And rose again.
It's almost like visiting, and that was your story too. Is like,
A little bit, yeah. Like there are some moments, just the holiday, going to church type stuff.
did it almost feel like like it's the thing you do because you visit like a parent or someone who's passed grave on their birthday or day of their death? You like,
yeah, you
it's
go
like
put the flower on the grave. And
it's the day Jesus
Kinda
died,
like
so
that.
let's go pay our respects.
Right. Yeah.
Wow.
It kind of felt like that, to be honest.
Wow.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, of course, growing up with me was, you know, hey, it's spring break. You get off from school.
Well, around
For a
here
couple
too,
of days.
a lot of other areas in the country, their spring break doesn't tie in with Easter. Hey, Santana and Sue Ann Locklear Brayboy says that when she started going to church at a young age, riding the Berea bus, she just couldn't understand what eggs had to do with it.
Yeah. Good. Kids are going, hey, what does this got to do with anything?
Right.
That's why I love that.
And that's one of those things. It's like and we'll talk a little bit more about this too. But like, there's always seems like there's the non-religious or pagan option versus like it's all about Jesus one way or the other. And then there's like the mix of the two, and then there's the one side hates the other side for leave it out.
Right.
For me, like I didn't get involved with church until I was a teenager anyway. Like outside of a mandatory Cub Scout day, I never went to church until I was a teenager. And and it was the same thing too. Our church didn't do, like growing up at Great Marsh, our church didn't do cantatas. Our church did full blown passion play. Like you'd have Brother Jerry with his like blonde hair, blue eyes, but sort of rugged beard on the cross and like doing the whole thing. And and I just remember too, I don't remember what Sunday it was, somewhere in my years, but somebody made banana bread for the Passover feast.
Oh, wow.
Of the play. And so like I was at that year, I was one of the disciples with my little outfit on, and I just sat there like
Banana bread.
the little fat kid in there doing that, eating banana bread in the communion, because I was the guy Paul wrote about at that point in time, because I'm sitting there eating the communion bread because it was like dope. It was. Santana says that her family tradition was to go to church, get back to her dad's, eat, and then have an adult egg hunt where you win money and prizes.
Ooh.
Snap! That sounds fun.
Wrong family.
Sounds like somebody might get hurt during that time.
Yeah, and they did resurrection trivia. And this is gonna be her first year without her dad for Easter, so that's gonna be harder. And we love you, and we know I know that pain, and we're praying for you too. So growing up, like that's our lives growing up through this. What have been the most common or least common things you've seen in your ministry life in Easter? Because everybody's, you didn't just serve at Vertical. So like growing up in your ministry life, what have been the staples or just the things that stood out to you that you saw were part of how Easter went?
Sunrise service.
Sunrise services. Yeah, sunrise service, like for me, like at Great Marsh, like was, this is no knock or negative on the spiritual climate of Great Marsh. I'm saying that for me, as a teenager, Great Marsh sunrise service was about the bacon and the sausage and the
Breakfast that you'd have
the
afterwards.
breakfast afterwards, because that was the thing. You would go to sunrise service,
And then breakfast.
have a big old breakfast, have like an hour break, and then come back for Sunday school.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was one of those guaranteed morning meal things. And listen, growing up as a kid, where my family was involved in church, and my mom was an overworked factory worker who was doing her best,
Right.
a full-blown, like,
Breakfast.
Yeah. Yes.
breakfast
That was
with
next level.
people, that was like chef's kiss.
Breakfast
That was-
didn't come out of a box. What?
Yeah, yeah. That was a big thing. So, all right, so sunrise services would think. Donnie, why don't we have sunrise service?
Because I don't like getting up that early. Well, the real reason is because we feel Easter is an opportunity for people who, if they're going to come to church, they're going to come to church on that Sunday. But I don't know that they're going to come to a sunrise. Now, church people love sunrise services, but the unchurched, the people who are just going to visit on Sunday, it's not the best way to reach them. So that's why Vertical does it, because we're trying to target the people who. This is going to be they don't like church. This is going to be the time they're going to come. Then we want to catch them at a time when they would come.
Yeah.
So that's no knock on anybody that does sunrise services.
No, not at
Just-
all. I enjoyed sunrise services when we did them. I mean, they're special. Unfortunately, for every time we ever planned one, the weather was always bad. It was either windy, too cold. Like some of the coldest mornings we've ever had would have been Easter Sunday.
Cold
Like,
and damp.
and the next day would be beautiful. So I think I had one out of my 8 years at Oakton that actually had decent weather. Or the pollens falling. You know, it's always something. But
That's I'll catch, because I live right across the street from East Lumberton. I'll just catch myself just walking out on my porch with my coffee, like
yeah, because they do theirs right out in your front yard.
they do it literally in my front yard. So I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'll go out there, sing some hymns, get up on my
cool.
porch, pray,
Yeah.
get coming here. So what are some other ministerial Easter traditions you've seen?
For me growing up, I think it was not so much ministry, but just the whole dressing up thing. Because when Easter came around, for me, you know, I had to be in church. There weren't no ifs and buts about it. But I always had a fresh suit on, not a suit,
Fresh
just
Easter.
Easter outfit.
Yeah.
And that's one of the Sundays I'm more than likely gonna had to wear a tie. If I didn't wear a tie, it was close to it, you know. So,
Yeah.
but that was for me though, because you know I've only been in ministry a few years. So.
Flexing on them with the pastel suit.
No, I ain't no pastel suit, son. But I had the LA looks gel though going on. You know what I mean?
I like the LA looks.
I'm
Joe.
telling you, bro.
I wore pastel
LA
shirts.
looks gel.
Always, I've got pink and yellow and bright blue, and all those were my Easter shirts.
When I had hair that I could move, I had the part that goes down the middle and put it on the sides.
Not the barcode.
That's what
No, I never did the barcode.
As a baby.
That's a good day.
Oh, yes. Good memories.
How about you, Mike?
Well, the only thing I could think of would be like dressing up, because I wasn't really in church like that, but grew up going to Catholic church. It was usually dress up with family
Mm-hmm.
and then go to family ordeals, whether at grandma's house or whatnot. And so that kind of be the tradition.
Family pictures too, man. Like that was.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that is the day for family pictures. Isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Like we were standing outside grandma's house, man, just taking pictures like, what the crap.
All right, everybody in the
Which
yard.
I have a question to answer for Miss Sarah on our Easter photo thing. So I'm just saying this out loud, so I remember to do it. When we get done with this, I got to respond to Miss Sarah. She hit me up during prayer time.
It was always crazy because talking about family photos, just popped my parents had these huge azaleas, and people, all the family would come over just to take pictures. Like my cousins, they would drive over to my parents' house just to take pictures in those azaleas because they're always in bloom at Easter. You know, so that was.
Santana says she's never been to a sunrise service, but they're having outside services this year. She's expecting a big old crowd where she's at in California. But she also says you got to be fly for Easter.
Fly, baby.
What's let me just ask, what's the flyest outfit you had for Easter ever? I can say this because I never really, clothes was never my deal. 1997, I was in a theatrical production of Guys and Dolls. And I had this teal suit that was a hand-me-down from a big gospel singer. Like a big, not in fame, like in girth, from a big gospel singer. And so I got his hand-me-down teal suit for my costume. And so that was the one.
for Easter.
I wore it for Easter for 2 years.
Yeah, maybe.
I walked it with that. Yeah, I was a fresh cut too. I outgrew it by that point, like by the next year. But like that was, I had my teal suit, and I loved that suit. I look back on that suit with fond memories. But
Big pimp at Great Marsh.
that's it. So what was your flyest Easter outfit?
Gosh.
Oh man, some khakis.
We were poor. We didn't get Easter outfits. I
khakis.
don't remember any of mine.
Back when I was a kid growing up, now we wore leisure suits.
Okay.
I went through that stage, and I had not a teal, it was a blue, but you'd always get a nice colorful shirt to go. My brother had a green leisure suit, I had a blue leisure suit. Of course, we dressed up for Easter.
How leisurely were leisure suits?
I'll
Did they
bring,
feel
I'll
comfortable?
bring it. I still have it. I'll bring it. Let you look at it.
I'm just like
I think you ought to wear it soon.
yeah.
Yeah, right. I'm talking about when I was
when you were little.
When I
Oh,
was
yeah.
10.
You still have it?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Why?
My mom.
Okay.
It's hanging up in her closet.
It's cute. She kept it.
Can Carmen wear it?
I'll see. I'll see if I can find it. This
My little
week.
boy might be able to wear it.
Yeah. I was like, because we got some church kids that could take that second hand suit for Easter. Mike, do you have any?
Well, I probably got thrown into suits and ties and stuff when I was younger, but by the time growing up, whether like dress pants or jeans and a polo, that'd be me.
Okay. All right. So one of the things that when we talk about Easter traditions, we've seen like what we've associated with it, what we wear with it, and stuff like that. And we kind of said this before, like when we were talking about what we think is essential for ministry. What is essential to you? Like what has to happen on an Easter Sunday on a ministerial level in your mindset? Because was it who made the statement earlier about just the one statement and bounce? Was that you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pastor Tim said for one Easter, we should just get everybody together, do the worship, walk out on stage. Why are you seeking the living among the dead? He's not here. In the service, send everybody home. But just say this, like, what is the on a ministry level? What's essential? And while you're thinking of that, Santana said Easter was like fashion show for Baptist kids. And Sue Ann says that she remembered getting a dress one time. She went to church by herself. No other family went, so she borrowed cousins from every week to go to church. That's dedication, and I'm glad you did that too.
Well, I noticed like this time, this Easter, we didn't specifically have an Easter sermon, and so when you went to Easter, growing up and even as an adult, when I came to Christ in 2000, you knew what you were getting Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
You're getting a resurrection themed sermon.
Mm-hmm.
It may be a little bit, but it was
Yeah.
just like Christmas. It was going to be that sermon you were going to get. So you didn't have to really be very religious or know much about the Bible, but you knew that Easter story.
Yeah.
And so
He's alive.
even though it's themed different the way we're doing it since we're reading through the whole Bible and we're still in the Old Testament, you have to connect it to that resurrection. You have to.
Our theme
So-
this year is going to be, what are we going to do because he's alive?
Because he's alive.
Yeah.
But like you'd be twitching if we didn't do a resurrection.
I mean, you got to connect it. I mean,
You got to connect it. So
You gotta connect
You got
it.
to talk about the fact
because
that
you
he's
know
alive.
you think about the Easter traditions we just
Technically, we
talked
should
about.
be teaching the resurrection every Sunday.
Ooh.
You gotta.
I wasn't gonna say that, but
You're
Just
gonna
say
have
it. Just say it.
You're gonna have a huge.
It's kind of crucial.
You hope
Yeah.
you have a huge turnout for Easter because lots
Yeah.
of people just come to church
Yeah.
for Easter. That's your time to connect them.
Definitely
why
needs to
you
be a,
came.
definitely needs
Yeah.
to be a gospel-centered theme.
Yeah, why you
where you're
came
calling
here
people
today.
to Jesus. I mean,
Yeah.
I think for me that's what it's got to have more than anything. Yes, he's alive, but we should preach that every Sunday, and then but a real gospel emphasis for that day, because you're going to have people that if they're going to come to church and they don't normally, that's going to be the day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Just to throw in some commentary, Allison Priest said she had the big crinoline dresses. I think that's the big frilly layered things. Patent leather shoes, and the dresses had to be new for each Easter.
Yeah.
Because grandparents. Hey Sarah, and Santana says she just needs to hear what he did for her. We already know it, but just to be reminded of his love, that that's just something you can't grasp.
Yes.
So the resurrection has to be preached, but as it should be each week. And of this love. What are some other things that have to happen? Because, as if you're not familiar with where we are in our sermon series, we're preaching through the Bible in a year. We started in February. Right now, we just got to Moses telling them that they're going to be in the desert, or God telling them they're going to be in the desert for 40 years.
Yep.
And we're about to head on to
Promised land.
the next week. We start against all odds with Joshua.
As they start to take the promised land.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. So it is not going to be just the stone rolled away and we sing alive by not Hillsong, new song.
Yeah.
Arise, my love.
Arise, my love.
That's a good song. It really is a
That
good
song
song.
we sung at the Promise. We did the Promise at Hyde Park.
Did you?
Yeah.
I remember being at the first winter jam they did that song at, and it was like a banger. Like everybody's
Oh, yeah.
everybody's like, and that's when new song was still a big deal at winter jam,
Yeah.
and not the obligatory. you have to let us come because we own it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But
What's wrong with that?
what's the truth? Nobody goes to winter jam to see new song, but they own it, so they have a guaranteed
They
spot.
get to play.
Yeah.
It's only fair.
But if I'm wrong, if anybody listening to this or watching this goes to Winter Jam solely for new song, feel free to tell me, and I will. First of all, you're not going to Winter Jam.
Dang.
Dang. That's good.
Sarah says the grave no longer has a hold on you. She's singing with us. All right. So what are the required things?
And I don't know. For me, I don't know anything outside of that. To be honest,
Yeah.
Cross with a purple sash.
cross with a purple.
It has to be
sash.
purple.
What I mean, that's what you associate it
It's
with.
the
Yeah.
king, man.
Yeah.
I think connecting kids to why they're here on Easter, especially if they only come on Easter.
Yeah.
Not because that sermon is not necessarily going to always connect the kids, but when you connect them in their service to why you're here today, why are you doing what you're doing today, and you connect that to Jesus. You have to do that for kids, especially kids who are only Easter, Christmas only kids.
Well, it's like Sue had said earlier that she didn't know what eggs had to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think also communion. I know we historically
We're doing it on Good Friday,
Yeah.
but yeah.
But communion's always tied to that as well. So somewhere in the parameters of those few days.
Feels like we need to do it somewhere in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just to ask you too, because like we talked about sunrise services, but outside of Sunday morning service, what else is important to you? Because I know we do like a Good Friday service. We talked in our prayer time about possibly doing like a full Passover Seder like one year as well. So, what are some other things? Is there anything that you think is important that we're not doing right now that you would want to see done?
I don't know if it was last year or the year before last when we did the devotion for the
Holy Week.
Leading up, Holy Week.
the Holy Week. I think that was pretty cool because it gave people a chance to understand what each day looked like
Right.
and what went and happened.
Because we didn't know what Maundy Thursday was.
No, and for the average person, they look at that. When I talk to people, they think of what happened as happening like in 2 days,
Yeah.
rather than it being
Right.
I mean, you're looking at 7 days of full
Preparation leading up
yeah.
to that. Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't until I was an adult really understanding what Palm Sunday. It was called Palm Sunday,
Yeah,
but when I started reading the scriptures to understand why it was called Palm
Right.
Sunday,
Yeah.
as he entered Jerusalem and they laid palms down in his path, and it was like, oh, Palm Sundays when he entered Jerusalem for the beginning of this week.
Right.
It never connected even as a kid. Nobody told me why Palm Sundays were called Palm Sunday, and we didn't do anything special for it.
On that, like I preached Sunday, and I didn't even realize until Sunday night we were heading to Fuse that it was Palm Sunday.
yeah.
Like I missed that Palm Sunday was last
Yeah, me
past
too.
week, and I was like, "Oh, we super failed." And it's like I felt like we took a big L on that one. Like we didn't even mention. I didn't make a social media graphic. We didn't mention it from stage. We didn't tell it our kids. I don't know. Maybe our kids got their stuff because our kids seen us on it. But like I missed even saying that. But I think when we make a big deal out of all that Easter is, that it's not just Sunday morning, that it's the whole thing. I think when we do that, it actually makes it a lot more focused. Now, preaching through the Old Testament right now, it's taking some of the focus out of us looking at the big picture with that.
But you know what? Easter's going to come around again next year.
Yep.
And it gives us something special. Here's the thing that I've struggled with, and it's kind of like that with Christmas as well. I mean, how do you keep it fresh?
Yep.
How do you keep it innovative? How do you keep it something that's not the same old thing over and over again? The message is what it is, but like, how can you present it in a way that's meaningful and can engage people without them checking out going, oh yeah, we've seen this episode, we've already done this.
Especially for the 20-year-old.
And I feel like there should be some creativity that we bring to it. And so that for me is the hard part, I think. I know Mike and I have talked about that with Christmas. Like, Christmas it's the same story, right? So how do we package it in a way that's a little different, a little nuanced to where we can engage people and they don't just check out and it becomes background noise.
Well, it's like the people that put like The Office on in the background. They don't actually have to watch it. They just like knowing it's there. We do that with Christmas. That's why people are coming to Easter Christmas services, because they can put it on in the background, sit for an hour, check their box, then hang out with mom and grandma.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Because you think about it, if I've heard this same message told the same way, it's not challenging to me.
Well, you know what to
I can show
expect,
up.
so you can just mail it in.
Yeah.
I can just show up and go through the motions because I know
What's
what to
happening.
expect. All right, this is going to happen. This is going to happen.
Yep.
But it's like, I'm not going to spoil it, but everybody that comes Sunday is getting a little gift, just a take-home thing to have tangibly. And I'm pretty sure we'll be the only church giving out
What we're giving out.
what we're giving out.
Right.
Like,
But I think the way we're packaging it is
I
a
think
little
it's
different,
good.
right? It's a little different.
And I think that, for that's going to be a reminder for somebody, because I feel like if you've been through this and you're here Sunday, you're going to connect that with Easter mentally moving forward.
Yeah.
But for me, preaching through the Old Testament and then looking at Sunday makes it that much more precious, though.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because after what we've preached, and you look at Abraham and Isaac and those guys, and you see how we can connect with them and their failings, and then going back to God multiple times asking for forgiveness, and then you look at Jesus, who's along that same family tree to a certain extent, and go, oh, but he's different. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you take where it's the same story every year, but when you don't look at what happened before he came, because most of the time, if we're being honest, when you hear Easter, you always talk about what happens after Jesus dies and he's resurrected.
Yeah.
And we talk
If
about
you're
this,
super edgy, you'll actually put the crucifixion in it.
right? But we never talk about the before
Yeah.
and everything that led up to.
And the fact that we've spent however many, this is 10 weeks.
Yep.
We've been preaching this, going through the Old Testament so far. When you look at how absolutely wretched Israel has been,
Yeah.
and how many times God has been patient with them, and how many sacrifices has been made, just in the 10 weeks we've been going over this, it shows how big of a gift this grace is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
Kind of gives a new
When you,
luster. Yeah.
especially when you think of the fact that God knew the whole time, I got to send my son. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he's watching this going, y'all's going to do all this,
I still got to send my son.
and I still got to send my son. You know what I mean? That for me has been a big takeaway, this week, as I've just been looking at that going, oh.
Well, a big takeaway for me too has just also been that because we talked about it, and one of the things that I think you really kind of hammered it into me is that when we're preaching through this, like, that Jesus has to be preached in every part of the story, but that for me, an understanding that really clicked is we had to go through all of this genetically and socially to get Jesus here with the right people at the right time.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because we had to go through Joshua and Israel's wobbles and everything else just to get David's bloodline, to get all these people to be in the right place. And, we were talking, we were at small group on Tuesday, and just about how it was the same conversation. And I was talking to Mr. Al. I said, Mr. Al, how many things do you think God had to work through, so many families, for God to get you to the point you're sitting on that couch across from me right now?
Wow.
Like, how many generations of people had to click, move around, and that God shuffled people's lives just to get you on that couch? Now imagine all that God had to juggle to get Jesus on that cross. And that was just a big thing.
Yeah. Wow.
Enough said.
Take up an offering and pray. That's good work.
If the pianist will come back out. Santana says that the Judas 8-2 thing was a big deal for her, like when it came to that. Candace says that Miles is that Office background person that just puts Office on in the background. That's what we don't want to happen.
Right.
So one of the things that is really popular with especially non-Christians around this time is that they want non-Christians is to bring up the fact that Easter as well as Christmas and stuff has like pagan origins and stuff like that. And it's not like anybody's covering that up or like whatever, but it's just Christianity by and large, from my perspective, has a big habit of when they see something, they adapt it. They, like, I don't know if this is the proper term, but it's the term that I've kind of clicked with, that we spiritually gentrify things.
Resurrection eggs.
Yeah, that we will literally see something. That meme of the dude standing behind the tree, like rubbing his hands, like peeking around. It's like, for me, I feel like Christianity's like, that's a nice holiday you got right there. Be ashamed if somebody came and made it all about Jesus. But that's the thing. Like we understand that there were other holidays in place and everything. But like, so one of the things I've seen happen in my own lifetime has been, churches that won't celebrate Halloween because it's, for all the reasons they'll say, that they'll take the exact same holiday, rename it, Holy Wayne, Trunk or Treat, whatever, and then do the same thing, because if they can make it about Jesus, they're comfortable with it. And I think there's this nature in us as the church, as Christianity, that we want everything to be about Jesus, and we're willing to make everything about Jesus, but like we understand, like that's everybody isn't going to click with that, because we people say you got to put the Christ back in Christmas, stuff like that, but like how does that whole, is there tension there for y'all with that? Is that something that concerns you? What are your thoughts with that?
I went through a time in my life that I was really beaten down on the church for doing that. Why are we having Easter egg hunts at church? That's this pagan holiday about the newness of the spring, and it was kind of tied into these sexual kinds of things about baby. And I go, you know what? God created all these things, and if you can connect new life and new birth to the resurrection, which is new life, that's where our new life is in. Yeah. It is in His resurrection. Mm-hmm. So that's clicked to me to go, it's not a pagan holiday. There was some influences there, and I've read some history on how they tied the two things together. But you know what? You teach that and say, why do we have eggs? It's a symbol of a new life. Why do people go buy baby chicks and give them as gifts? It's a symbol of new life. And when you can tie that directly to your new life in Christ, that this is what's available by His death, burial, and resurrection, hey, like you say, let's use it.
Well, I think as Christians, we should be looking for bridges to be able to build with people and connect to Jesus. I mean, and so this is one of the things that we do with that. Now, it's not like, as the Apostle Paul would say, if that is going to cause you to worship whatever God that's representing, you probably ought not to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it's not a thing of conscience, and it's and let's face it, Easter is kind of, yes, it does have pagan connotations, but not anymore. I mean, it's just kind of like it's just a holiday that we have.
Not for the bulk.
You know what I'm saying? It's become a thing. Obviously Satan wants to use it as a distraction, I'm sure, but we can leverage it for the gospel. Let's leverage it for the gospel.
I think
that's what we do.
I think in the past, it's always, I don't know if it's so much been the teaching of it, like you said, but it's the attitude of Christians that are leading it, you know. And when you have that attitude, or we're just going to do it, and you're going to have to deal with it, because that happens in Christianity as well.
Yeah.
That's where I think the fine line is, because then you have unbelievers going, well, that's not very loving, and you're supposed to be worshiping a loving God, you know.
Right.
So I'm at that place as well. As like, I think for us, I think we do a good job with that, because like we participate with the trunk or treat with the city of Lumberton, right, in different places, and
for a lot of years we actually helped the city of Lumberton do their Easter egg hunt too.
Yeah, and so it's not so much about what we do as much as the attitude of why we're doing it,
Yeah,
and trying to
exactly.
bridge that.
Yeah.
You know.
Using it as a bridge.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I think some of it has to do with some Christians are so afraid of messing up that they'll do anything to stay. Well, they fall into legalism with it, and like trying to build up these walls so we don't fail, forgetting the fact that Jesus died because we are a bunch of failures and sinners.
Yeah.
And like, it's not like we're worshiping the egg or worshiping the peeps or worshiping these other deities or stuff like that. We're just taking some stuff that we see that God created all things, physical and spiritual. Sure. And so why should we be afraid of taking an egg and having an Easter egg hunt? It's not like, almost like I've heard people say Christmas with the pagan stuff, like if you bow down to put down a present, you're worshiping the tree. It's just like, really?
That is not even crossing my mind.
Yeah.
Right? So like, people to the extreme are so afraid, I think sometimes are so afraid of messing up in their walk with Christ that they accidentally put up barriers and end up trying to do this walk with Jesus on their own strength rather than leaning on the Lord to just live life, just be free.
Yeah.
Like,
Doesn't that come from a mindset where we have to make ourselves holy or make ourselves acceptable to God, as opposed to receiving His grace, which is what Easter really is about?
Yeah.
Right.
that we weren't righteous enough and the righteous one died for our sins.
That's right.
Like, we're free.
It's
Yeah,
okay
you're
to
free.
eat Easter eggs and bunnies. Okay.
Especially the
As long as you're not thinking about pagan gods as you do.
Now
Yeah.
if you're
Don't
worshiping,
worship the
If you're worshiping pagan gods while you do it, I would say you probably need
you
to get rid of
probably
it.
need accountability partner, some
Yeah.
discipleship.
Maybe
But-
a little counseling.
But that's the thing, like a lot of people that have the religious aspect of Christianity, but not the relational and discipleship aspect of Christianity, they see, I gotta check these rules off, and I gotta stay, and I gotta color within these lines, and then God won't hate me.
Right.
So it's the people that is, that are grown up taught, can't do this, can't do this, can't do this, because it's easier to follow a few rules that you barely have to worry about anyway,
Right.
than to
Loving
actually
God
follow
with your whole
Jesus. Because if I make sure I don't trick or treat, if I make sure I don't have Halloween and all these,
I'm good.
I'm good. Instead of I need to actually die to myself, take up my cross daily, and follow Him.
Yeah.
Every day.
Every day.
Couple of comments that came through there. Candace Sampson says that we should go ahead and give everybody a baby chick this Easter.
Baby chicks.
Real
Real baby chick? Or
like a real baby chick.
Or
She
the
wants her-
marshmallow peep chicks?
No, she wants everybody to get a baby
the
chick.
marshmallow.
That's all right. She just wants to start her flock.
Yeah, start her farm. Santana just said that she wants us to mail her a baby chick.
Oh yeah, right. A dead baby chicken when it gets to California.
And Sue Ann said that it's about how you use each of these things, kind of like what you were saying as well. That it's about how you use it, because I always look back at and this is one of the things just that it's kind of always been an anchor for when I do stuff with faith and fandom or anything else, is that when Paul in Acts 17 used the unknown God, he said, look at this thing that you're all familiar with that you don't really understand.
Yeah.
Let me tell you how I can use this and point this to the Jesus you can't understand.
Yes.
And I feel like if you give me anything, I will make it about Jesus. And it's not because I'm simple-minded. It's because I see the creator of everything in everything.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
That's good.
Sounds like you know him.
we dabble. Santana says that we want to try to, that people, or she wanted to try harder to be loving like Jesus, that people take holidays too seriously and forget the reason we're having these holidays.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Good point.
Enjoy it instead of bringing it up as an argument.
Yes.
That's like literally arguing over a kid's birthday cake while he's trying to blow out the candles.
Yeah.
Just celebrate Jesus, y'all.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Eat some chocolate. Bring us the Starburst jelly beans and Reese's eggs.
Amen.
Let's
Hallelujah.
go.
Praise God for candy.
Yay, candy. Which, it's like yesterday I saw at Big Lots, they had the cotton candy jelly bean burritos. Chef's kiss. It was tasty.
Tasty.
All right. So this we'll be having our Good Friday service all at Lumberton on 7 p.m. on Friday. We'll have communion, some worship. That's going to be this Friday at 7 p.m. Easter Sunday, we're having all of our regularly scheduled services. So 10:30 at Elizabethtown, 9:15 and 11:15 at Pembroke and Lumberton.
Yep.
And I don't know what. Candace made a vomit face at me, and I don't know what it
Must
was
have
for.
been the
jelly bean
candy,
burrito.
jelly bean burritos. She hasn't heard the description, honestly. You need to let her know what that is.
Yeah, we'll talk. We will have some gifts just as part of the sermon, but also for our Easter stuff. I know at Lumberton we're setting up a photo booth,
Yeah.
I know that each location is going to do their own thing with that, respectively. There'll be no fuse on Sunday, so that's kind of our schedule for. But
And then dinner at Grandma's house with a ham and what do we usually have? Deviled eggs.
Oh, okay. We love and miss you, Santana. Let's end with that. What's everybody's Easter meal?
Ham, deviled eggs,
Turkey and mashed potatoes.
turkey.
You have turkey?
You have turkey on Easter?
We were going. Well,
We were
we're
going
gonna
to.
have turkey
Legal?
and dressing.
It's only Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Turkeys are like $45.
Turkey and mashed potatoes
I'm starting to get hungry.
and,
I always associate Easter with ham.
and Reese's eggs.
Yeah. What is it? Why do we have to have ham? It's like you gotta have ham.
Because it's different from Thanksgiving.
Okay.
I think it does differentiate.
My wife likes ham, so we
Yeah.
have ham at Christmas.
Yeah, we're having a spiral ham day.
Yeah.
My dad's family for years would always gather, make sure that he and his sisters. It was at one time it was a huge celebration, but now as they die off, my dad and his one sister, the only ones left, and his family, immediate family, siblings, we're not even gathering together. We're individual, and that was a big change for us because it was always we were gathering together either at someone's house or we did it for a few years. We would get a fellowship hall at someone's church, and our whole big family would be there and have. So it's a change in seasons for us right now, as that tradition is going away. But of course, our family still meeting and still having dinner at Grandma's house. So that tradition changes a bit, but it's still continuing on in some form.
Candace Sampson says she feels you that on the family thing it's not the same, and I think that's one of the reasons why I realized yesterday I haven't bought my kids an Easter basket probably in a decade, and Rose is only 14, and I'm like,
Dude.
I think it's one of those things that got bypassed. It's just it's Jesus, you don't need candy.
Yeah.
Peace. So on some of the meals, we'll close out with this. Santana says she's doing ham, but she wants to do some lamb chops because she fancy like an Applebee's. Cabbage, potato salad. Huh?
I might be going to Cali.
Might be going to Cali. Deviled eggs, honey glazed carrots, and carrot cake and rolls. That's Santana.
Wow. That sounds awesome. I want to go to Santana's.
Sue Ann says ribs, which I've not heard ribs at Easter. But see, we could get down with that.
Fried ribs, homie.
Candace says ham, potato salad, broccoli casserole, baked carrots, and sweet tea.
Well, the candied yams, boys, just
I like all of those.
Yeah.
make the
So
taste at it.
we hope y'all have a happy Easter. If you're celebrating
Yes.
with us on Sunday, we look forward to celebrating resurrection together. I hear there might be a confetti cannon. I don't know.
Jesus is alive. We're going to celebrate.
There's celebration.
There's rumors. Rumor has it. All that just so Adele can sue us. All right. I'm going to awkwardly get up and go turn this off so y'all can say
Talk
goodbye.
amongst yourselves.
Talk to hold that. Yeet.
Let's watch Hector go turn off the
This is
camera.
fried.
Bye bye.
Fried.
Bye, everybody.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.